My name is Naya Alexander, and this is my PowerPoint on how to become a successful educator. Today, I'll just be talking about the most burning questions that I had when I was a student teacher, and I hope that these will answer some questions that you might have so you can move further along to becoming an excellent teacher or an excellent educator. So let's just start teaching. What I would be discussing. I would be discussing questions like what makes a good teacher, should you reward your students, how to motivate your students, which is really crucial in a classroom. Is reinforcement necessary? Yes, it is. um, how to be mindful and how to just adapt to the diversity among your students in your classroom. So what makes a good teacher? A good teacher is someone who cares about their students and they interact with them. I believe interacting with your students is the most crucial part in becoming an educator, building relationships with them, and being able to know who they are for them to trust you and for them to be able to come to you for anything. That's just really important into becoming a great educator and for the students to actually really learn something and love your classroom. Also notice and adapt to students' learning. So if you see something that's going on with them, you might be able to have a talk with them. Just be observant and listen to your students. Build relationships, tell you about the interacting, being able to have them trust you and actually like to be in your classroom is really important because if they don't like school and they don't like being in the classroom, they're not going to learn because they're going to be worried about when they go out to lunch or when they go to specials. So building relationships is really crucial in becoming that. Knowing that you are learning alongside the students. I think that all teachers learn inside their students because you're learning about them, you're learning new things. If you're not really used to culture, you didn't really have a cultural upbringing, learning about them, learning about the different things that students does. They might even teach you a fact. In my first placement, the children really taught me a lot. So it's really important to know that you're just not talking and they're learning, that we're all learning as a whole. Should you reward your students? Yes, you should. Rewarding students is very important to build relationships with them and to motivate them. In my placement now, it's a pre-K class, and they really do reward their students. I noticed that they give out either 2 Skittles or 2 M&Ms per child for anything that they're doing. They also have a child with behavioral issues, and they had a conference with the parents, and they pretty much said that they're gonna put him on a sheet, and if he get 2 out of 3 smiley faces out of the day, which means that he had little to no behavioral issues throughout the day, he'll be able to get either a piece of candy or a sticker. And I saw when they put it in place, and now it's making a huge difference for him. And it's just a really good thing to be able to reward your students. I'm not saying reward them every single day for every little thing, but be able to just give them a high five or say good job is really important for them to build their self-esteem as well. So I think rewarding students is very, very important. How to motivate your students. Students can be motivated in a lot of different ways. I've been in 2 placements. I've been in second grade and pre-K, and I noticed that the positive and negative reinforcements were best from children on the pre-operative stage, which is pretty much from 2 to 7, so they do fit in the age range. Positive reinforcement basically encourages the behavior, while negative reinforcement decreases it. There's also such a thing as negative positive reinforcement, which means that you're basically taking something away in order to increase the positive behaviors. Like you're giving them a sticker that says no homework because they helped a friend. So it's pretty much you're taking something away, but it can either be positive or negative. Motivation can also make students enjoy learning and reading if you give them the proper reassurance and the tools. So just telling them they're good learners, praising them, rewarding them, interacting with them can really just change a student's life and make them actually enjoy coming to school because school starts so early. And I've noticed that kids really just do not like coming to school because they're waiting on the bus. And I've even had a student tell me that he's just there because his mom told him to go to school. So it's really disheartening to see. But if you really give them the motivation early on, especially in the morning, and like even just greeting them when they come in is really something to like help them and motivate them. Is reinforcement necessary? I believe reinforcement is very necessary. I believe it's just as crucial as actually teaching the students something in the class. Some reinforcement tools can be technology based, like Class Dojo or like Dream Class. I've seen that a lot in my placements, and even just using just the old fashioned clothespin chart. It is considered a negative reinforcement, but many teachers do have it. Like in the picture, I got that photo from my second grade placement where she actively uses it, and I believe it made a difference in her behavior in the classroom. So using even like Class Dojo, she used it sometimes. They still use Edmodo, which is something that I had when I was in middle school. So it's really cool to see just like stuff that I grew up on still in the classroom because a lot of stuff is really technology based that I did not have. So being able to utilize such things is really important, and just reinforcing and like telling them you're doing a good job, or like even negative reinforcement, like if they're showing negative behaviors, moving a clothespin down or taking away some points is really important for them. Being mindful. Each student is very different. They're very, very different. Um, and they will all need more of something than the next. Some kids might need more nurturing, some kids might need more isolation. It all depends on who you have in your classroom and what all they need from you, but they're not getting from home. So most children in elementary school, they're going through the pre-operational and the concrete operational stages. So you really have to understand that each behavior that they show and they perform is just not random. It's them trying to learn, and you just have to either help them learn or just try to encourage them. So the pre-operational stages are from the ages of 2 to 7, where the students just tend to be very egocentric or like full of themselves. And that doesn't mean like they just don't like other people, they think they're better. They're just not aware of like their presence or other people's presence just yet, because I remember I saw in my pre-K class a lot of students standing up. And when the other students told them to sit back down, they were very confused on what they meant. They thought that all the other kids behind them could see, and they pretty much just thought like they were invisible. So they're really just trying to figure stuff out in the stage. And the concrete operational stages are from ages 7 to 12, when students understand logical outcomes and like reversibility of categories, such as like a poodle or Pomeranian. They know that's a dog and a dog is an animal, so they can conclude that a poodle or a Pomeranian is an animal. So, as you watch your different classrooms and even your own when you get it one day, you will notice that the payment theory happens in each student and it varies of what stage they are in, because just because the ages are from 2 to 7 or from like 7 to 12, that doesn't mean that they're going to be in that stage. So observing your students and acting accordingly is crucial in becoming an educator. So like assessments, small tests, even like a ticket out the door is really crucial to learn what stage they are in and how to help them and push them forward. So diversity among students. Children are in many different levels and there are many different ranges upon entering elementary school, and you will quickly find out who is where. So as a teacher, it is crucial that you adapt to the accommodations and things needed for each child so you're able to help them academically. So like for example, if you have a gifted student and you know that they're gifted but no one's been able to test them or they haven't had proof or documentation, just try to give them higher level assignments once in a while in order to challenge them and see if they need to be challenged, and even just have like a portfolio going. So like if you're able to talk to somebody, be like, hey, this student is really smart, they're going over to many different grade levels, higher grade levels, and I think it's important for us to be able to challenge them. So if my class is not challenging enough, they need to be in something more difficult. Or like you can use the cultural diversity in your classroom to your advantage and like read many different culturally diverse books, because when I was growing up, I didn't have any culturally diverse books. Everyone around me were black. All the books that I read were black. I really did not have any other people around me until I got into West Georgia. And I don't think it was beneficial for me to be able to see different cultures at the age of 19. So I really do think that having the appropriate books is important. I remember I was going through my field experience in my second grade class, and she let me rearrange her library for her. And she had a lot of different books from many different cultures, and it was really cool to see because it had one for everything. She had many different cultures. She had Native American, she had Mexican, black, white, even books from like single parent homes, same sex homes. It was really cool to see such diversity in a classroom, in such a small classroom, and be able to know that these kids are getting the things and diversity that they need in order to grow into a successful adult. And also, no two children will ever be the same, not even twins. So it's your job to prove that everyone's uniqueness is cherished and loved. Thank you for discussing such a plethora of wonderful questions and topics with me. I hope that you enjoyed and you really learned a lot, because I want to teach other people so they won't have the same questions or do the same mistakes that I did. So I really hope that this helped even just a little bit, or even just click something in your head that like makes you realize what a wonderful educator really is. So hopefully that you can become one yourself. Um, I just want to say thank you all again and goodbye.